Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I know so many of you over on TikTok have been blowing up the comments asking for this, so today we're finally doing some customer reviews analysis for it. But before we dive into that, be sure to check out this exclusive discount available for it. You'll find it in the description and in the first comment under this video. Now let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details.
Let's start with our first reviewer's experience.
This reviewer notes that the one major downside to this router is its lack of support for the 6 GHz band. However, they argue that this is largely irrelevant for most people. It turns out that very few devices currently support this band, and the technology itself suffers from high power consumption and extremely short range, making its practical application limited. A reviewer points out that the real-world benefits of the new wireless standard come from other features, like improved signaling efficiency and anti-congestion tech, all of which are well supported by this device and make a noticeable difference for all connected gadgets. For this client, the primary goal was finding a reliable router with great firmware support and, most importantly, 10 GB ports. This device fit the bill perfectly. They found the impressive array of ports, including multiple 2.5 GB connections, could even eliminate the need for a separate network switch in many home setups. The setup process had a minor hiccup, requiring a few reboots to sync with their modem and the use of a different web browser for the login page, but was otherwise straightforward. In terms of performance, the results were a mixed bag that trended toward excellent. The USB speed was a bit underwhelming, but the wireless performance was fantastic, providing fast speeds and great signal coverage across a large house and yard. The real star of the show, however, was the 10 gigabit wired performance. Our reviewer was thrilled with the incredible speed boost over a standard connection, citing the ability to move massive files in just a few minutes. While the slightly slow USB performance and the absence of the 6 GHz band kept it from a perfect score, this router is considered a slick and powerful upgrade for anyone wanting to take advantage of multi-gig internet and the latest wireless improvements.
Let's begin by examining the insights provided by our first reviewer.
This reviewer found this new router to be a welcome and necessary upgrade, noting its easy installation and reliable performance after the first couple of days. The decision to upgrade was prompted by an older model that was beginning to fail and was becoming a bottleneck for newer computers in the house equipped with faster network ports. The physical setup was described as incredibly straightforward. It was a simple matter of unplugging the old cables and plugging them into the new, clearly labeled ports. Our reviewer mentioned taking a moment to ensure their fastest devices were connected to the high-speed ports to maximize their potential, a simple step that makes a difference. They also appreciated the flexibility to configure one of the faster ports for the main internet connection, which frees up the top-tier 10G port for super-fast internal network use. While the software configuration presented a few minor hurdles, it was still a relatively painless process. The main hiccup came from the device's default network address being different from their previous setup, which required a quick reboot of a wired computer before it could be recognized. Once that was sorted, getting online and reconfiguring the network settings took only a few minutes. For anyone familiar with the brand's ecosystem, the user interface will feel very familiar, making tasks like setting up port forwarding for home-hosted services a breeze. One lingering frustration our client noted was the brand's dynamic DNS service, which temporarily reserves old host names, forcing the user to create a new one. On a more positive note, a handy graphical map in the interface shows which ports are active, which is a great tool for troubleshooting connection issues. Performance-wise, while there wasn't an immediate, dramatic increase in speed, this was expected as other components in the home network still need to be upgraded to take full advantage of the new hardware's capabilities.
Awesome. Let's hear what our next reviewer has to share about their experience.
This reviewer replaced their previous router with this model because it seemed like a worthy successor, mainly due to the generous number of Ethernet ports. The fact that several of them support 2.5 gigabit Ethernet is a real plus, as our reviewer no longer needs to daisy chain high-speed devices through the SFP Plus port, though that option is still available. The gaming label on one of the Ethernet ports is a bit puzzling to this client. While one might speculate about some hidden prioritization code, they doubt anyone truly needs such a dedicated port, especially considering the software's QoS settings. The 10 gigabit WAN port is likely overkill for current needs, but it's a nice future-proof feature and can even be repurposed as a LAN port. The absence of a 6 GHz radio doesn't bother our reviewer, as they lack devices that would benefit from it, and they aren't using a mesh network. This missing feature also helps keep the cost down, which is a definite plus. The firmware is familiar territory for this reviewer, having owned many routers from the same company. This is both a blessing and a curse, as it retains some long-standing quirks, but also makes it easy to locate the new features within the user interface. Wireless range seems comparable to the previous router, which is satisfactory. This client did encounter a hiccup during setup, recalling that plugging in a large storage device can cause the router to consume all its RAM. A simple reboot resolved the issue, and clearing the cache via SSH is also an option. This reviewer hopes the manufacturer improves its garbage collection or adds a software button for clearing system caches. Hopefully this router will have a good lifespan. The lack of a fan is a welcome change, as the previous router's fan was quite noisy and disturbed the pets. The router stays cool thanks to the ample heat sinks and vents. However, the detachable antennae are still disappointingly flimsy. Threading them on is more challenging than it should be, and they tend to loosen easily with minimal adjustment.
And that's a wrap. If this video was helpful, like and subscribe. Got questions? Let's chat in the comments. See you soon.